Hi, welcome in. AI 101. What is AI and why does it matter? It's a topic for today, and we're going to get into that very soon here. A quick note, as you notice, I'm wearing a hat this time. You see it says school. So through my videos, I will be either wearing hats or shirts that represent either the branches or another service organization or this platform because I think this is a great education platform. So you'll see those things. But if you want these, they are available. But there's a school there, SKOOL. All right, and we're going to move on. Here we go. Here's what we're going to cover. I'll move my head a little bit. What is AI in simple terms? Examples of AI you already use, which there's a lot of examples. I talk about a few. How AI works, right? Give you the basic idea of how many AI models work. There are different types of models and there are many different types of tools, but we're going to talk about a few of those. AI is everywhere. We know this, and it is going to just continue to be everywhere. AI is just a tool, right? So we will talk about this in detail. Again, for our content here and our channels, we have YouTube channel and LinkedIn. You can look for Agile Peak Performance there. You can also find me, again, Keith Ward. I'm on those channels, and hopefully you will seek us out and continue to share this course, right? So we all know veterans in the families and in our lives that either want to learn or need to learn or want to advance in their career, but there's so many different uses and so many different ways people can consume this content, right? And it's free, so invite them onto the platform, upskill your network, and let's build this community together. So what is AI in simple terms? The definition of AI: AI stands for artificial intelligence. It's when machines or software are designed to perform tasks that usually, let me move my head, usually require human intelligence, like recognizing speech, making decisions, or solving problems. And I'll move myself again. AI mimics human intelligence. So AI is designed to perform tasks that typically require human thought, like problem solving, understanding language, or recognizing objects. AI follows instructions, right? So it's not a rogue agent that is thinking for itself and doing whatever it wants. AI doesn't think on its own. It follows the rules and patterns programmed into it by its developers. Different types of AI. So there are basic terms like narrow AI. So those are used for very specific tasks that certain AI tools perform, like voice recognition that I wrote there, and how general AI, which doesn't exist yet, would perform any human task or any task a human can do. So general AI, and this is a very, very big topic, is, again, a much bigger model, many more complexities, and it doesn't exist quite yet. So we may see that in our lifetimes. Examples of AI you already use. So this won't be a surprise, or maybe it is. We'll see. It may be for some of us. A few examples. Everyday tools like Google Search, voice assistants like Siri or Alexa, and Netflix recommendations are powered by AI. I'm going to make this smaller. So let's do that. There we go. Okay. You're probably using AI without even knowing it. Smartphone apps. So AI is trained to be very good at predicting text, right? So we all know what auto-completing is when we're texting or DMing or doing those things. That is an AI trained to do that. Voice assistants like Siri can do more than just make a grocery list for you, right? So it can actually, with its latest versions, Siri can connect to other apps that are non-Apple apps on your Apple phone, provided you give it permission to do that and you know how the two interact and how much control you would have through a voice assistant like Siri within that app. And there are examples of those out there for sure. And then facial recognition in phones is, of course, AI enhanced, right? So if you want to unlock your phone, it seems like it's some magic happens there that it knows your face versus someone else's face. That is AI. Streaming services. So Netflix or Spotify are reasonable examples. They have AI-driven recommendations, and those recommendations should suggest to you what you might like based on what you have done before, right? What you either watched or listened to, or what you've liked, or what you've promoted or repeatedly watched or listened to on the platform. Like a voice service recommending movies you'd enjoy, right? So that's what they do. It compares what you like with what other people like and finds matches. So if there are other people who like Sandra Bullock rom-coms, like we all do, we know it, you can admit it, then you're going to get more Sandra Bullock rom-coms recommended to you on Netflix. Simple as that. Social media algorithms. AI shows users content they are likely to engage with based on past interactions. So this is Instagram, Facebook. Social media is, there's so many different aspects that AI is implemented in these tools. Just based on Facebook ads that are presented to you. A Facebook ad for something you were just searching on Google for instance. Maybe you're looking for, some kind of charger from 1968, and all of a sudden you're getting Facebook ads for used cars and vintage cars and different auctions for cars. Those different interactions and searches and all those things basically profile what you like and what you prefer. So then you get served up that same type of content on social media. Again, that's a very large topic. Recognizing pictures and sounds. AI can recognize things in pictures or turn spoken words into text. It works by looking at the details in the images, like the colors and the shapes, or listening to patterns in sounds, then matching those with what it has learned. This is called deep learning because it requires so much data and repetitive training cycles to do either of these tasks reliably. So what does that all mean? So when you are training, say you are training an AI tool to recognize objects in pictures. So how would you train an AI model to tell you whether there is an airplane in a picture or not? You have to show it hundreds of thousands of pictures with and without airplanes so that it can start recognizing the shape of airplanes, start recognizing the different aspects of airplanes, and then it can start picking up on where those objects are or are not in the pictures, because they measure all these different iterations when they're doing the training. So until it gets to the high 90 percentile of reliable identification of that object that you're looking for, it continues to train, right? Okay, so the basic idea of how AI works, and we've been talking about some of the basic ideas, but how AI works. AI systems learn from data, right? We've said that. The more data they have, the better they become at making predictions or decisions, like suggesting a movie based on your past preferences. So we talked a little bit about Netflix there. But again, how many people have been on Netflix and have been choosing movies again and again and again, and through different pandemics, there's a lot more data that was produced, right? So all this data that we provide to similar platforms, they then can trend what we like and then start recommending similar things in those trends, right? So that was my Sandra Bullock example. Yeah. Data-driven learning. AI uses data to recognize patterns, learn from experience or examples, and improve its performance over time. So especially examples. I'm gonna key on the word examples. How many years of training on the world's public data did it take to create the current version of ChatGPT 4.0? So do you know that answer? So it trained they did research for a number of years before 2018. 2018 was the first version that they produced and called it ChatGPT. So not counting the few years of research, that's 6 years already. And they're up to 4.0. And ChatGPT, the initial version, is far, far inferior, right? It's much, much worse than ChatGPT 4.0. It continues to iterate, it continues to learn, and examples, right? So it has more examples today than it had 6 years ago of the data that it's being trained on, right? So just like children, just like pets, the more examples, the more training you give them, the more ability they have to see what you are expecting of them, the better they will perform. Algorithms. AI follows algorithms, or you can call them recipes, to help them work by telling them what to do step by step, right? So it kind of follows along, similar to a recipe of do this, then do this, then do this. They look at examples, data examples, obviously, and learn from them to improve at tasks like recognizing pictures or predicting what you might want to watch next. So I keep going back to this same example because it is a very easy example to talk about in a number of aspects. So the algorithms or recipes, so again, it's not as simple as I made it out initially, but there is a Sandra Bullock, if you will. There is a Sandra Bullock example. So if we watch a lot of rom-coms, then we're going to get served more rom-coms. But they also take into account what time we watch them, what year those movies were produced. So are we watching a lot of 80s rom-coms? Are we watching a lot of rom-coms from a different decade? Are we watching them on, multiple devices? They can track if you're on multiple devices. Are these things running at the same time? Are they running separately? So all this data all adds up to what they then predict you would want to see next, right? And they, of course, are in the business of serving up content. So they want to do the best job they can serving up that content that you want to see, so you don't jump over to a different platform like Amazon Prime or Hulu or wherever. They want to keep you stuck on the platform that you're using now, right? Just like any kind of retailer does. Training AI. AI improves the more AI improves the more it's exposed to example data, which is why it gets better at tasks like recognizing speech or suggesting content. There are multiple types of training, from examples, much like children in school. There's supervised, there's unsupervised learning, and there's reinforcement learning. So I stumbled through some of those words there, but what all that's saying is there are multiple types of training. So supervised is when you're training data here. Supervised learning is when you give the AI tool, this is an example of the correct answer. So you are just demonstrating the color that I want you to say is red, and this is an example of red, right? So that might be not a great example, but you give it the exact answer that you want, and you tell it, this is the way that you should answer these types of questions. So just plain tells you what it wants. Unsupervised learning is more letting the tool try different paths to the answer. So you don't give it the answer, but you try to let it discover the answer through the previous learning it's done and the previous paths to success it has had, right? So riding a bike or doing those things, sometimes you want to have your hand on the back of the seat, and sometimes you let go of the seat to see how they do. They know how they're supposed to balance, but until they actually try to, it's a different experience. And then reinforcement learning is, again, the way that you are once they do find the success, the AI tool does discover what you actually want and knows it's the right answer, then you reinforce that learning with additional examples saying, so you found that answer correct, so this is the same kind of a problem, so go and discover it again, right? So it's doing it over and over and over again and reinforcing the correct answer that it discovered. AI is everywhere. So when I say everywhere, where is everywhere? So from phones to cars to customer service chatbots, AI is integrated into many aspects of modern life. It's designed to make tasks faster and easier. Right? So we have a few more things we talk about, a little more detail. Phones, homes, cars. AI is integrated into smartphones, smart home devices like Alexa or whatever. There's other devices besides Alexa. And even self-driving features in cars. Most of these examples are consumer driven. So you as a consumer installed, example here, so you as the consumer installed a smart switch or installed an Alexa device in your own home, or you use your smartphone to control those types of devices or appliances. Right? So a lot of those kinds of examples are me making that choice of, we have all smart TVs in the house. They are all based on the same model, right? They're all Amazon TVs. So you can speak to them and say, hey, Alexa, to all of them, and they will respond. Customer service. AI is often the person responding to you when you contact customer service via retailers, websites, or their phone systems. In many cases, these people, or agents, if you will, on their websites are chatbots. They're specifically trained to answer questions and direct your request to the appropriate human if it cannot answer your question. So the example that I talk about with chatbots is how you actually train them. And I've trained multiple chatbots, and they're very straightforward once you understand the method that they require. But you can train a chatbot to basically go and scrape multiple websites if you need to, right? So say I have a blog website and then my standard retail website. I give it both of those URLs and tell it to train on all this data. So all this is my business. I want you to be able to respond if someone asks you any specific questions about these particular topics and questions and my FAQs and all those things that are already present on my website. But what you also do is you can feed it and train it on documents. So if you have a spreadsheet that has your FAQs, or if you have some other form of Word doc or a PDF or something that you can give it that has more data about you or more background on the business that is not necessarily on the website, again, you just retrain it or you give it more training so that it can answer those questions better. And some chatbots, if I can keep going on this example, some chatbots you can actually tell it to go and retrain to specifically answer this question that you just presented. Maybe it didn't answer it well enough. So if I say, if I'm talking to a chatbot on a website and I say, what is the best contact information I can get for this company XYZ, and it comes back with, just flashes up the Contact Us webpage or the Contact Us part of the webpage. Well, me as the owner or the developer of that chatbot, I don't want it to respond that way. I want it to actually present the phone number or present an email or present some very specific information, not something that seems like it's a Google search and just throwing data back at you and you decide what you want to use or not use. That chatbots are meant to be very specifically trained to give back information that they're trained to respond to. And you put bounds also. Again, I'm getting a little into the weeds here, but you put bounds on what you trained on. So if you don't want the chatbot to respond to the question of what is the weather, then it won't, right? You tell it, do not answer any questions that are outside of this website or outside of this document or outside of whatever you trained it on. right? Don't go exploring, if you will, or don't go creatively answering questions outside of that realm, outside of that one domain that you chose to train it on. I don't want it to talk about, if the chatbot on my website, for instance, I don't want it to say, yes, Keith is sick today, or don't call him, he's unavailable, or anything like that. I want it to just answer straightforward and be able to schedule appointments and do those things that I trained it to do, right? Healthcare, banking, and shopping. AI helps detect patterns in patient data, speeds up banking services, and even powers product recommendations when shopping online. So we talked about the shopping online a little bit, but there are other examples. And if you notice, one big similarity in these three industries is high volumes of data that they collect and utilize to complete the requests that we make of them, right? So patient data is a tricky one because there's not only HIPAA restrictions and other types of personal identifiable information that they have to have access to, but then they cannot allow it to be distributed or not allow it to be outside of their control. So that's a little bit of a different example there, but the health industry, as probably many of you know, is just one of the most highest volume besides banking industries and finance industries that produces data or has data about its users. In the banking services, there are so many AI examples from the ATM, how the ATM actually interacts, how quickly it can do the transactions you're asking it to do. It is powered on the back end. It's not really powered in the ATM itself in most cases, but on the back end services, so it can do things more quickly, and the ATM seems to be responding more quickly because the data is being provided to it quickly. But there are so many examples for banking and finance in the finding information about the people that are their customers so that they may serve them better or provide them with additional products, right? This again is a trend we've talked about. How do companies that are either in the banking services or financial services industries, how do they know that I may want a car loan, right? Why am I being prompted, or why am I being emailed, hey, we also have this other service that you may want to do? Well, because they know maybe I own a home because I have my mortgage with them. They might know my other data about what types of accounts I have with them, personal accounts, business accounts, whatever it might be. So they are making predictions on what other of their products, i.e. a car loan, that I may be wanting in the near future. So they send me that type of either pitch or specific service or whatever it might be, right? So again, a lot of trend recognizing based on data, right? You're seeing a theme here, and it's going to continue. AI is just a tool. So just a tool. AI isn't a super intelligent robot from science fiction, right? I think we all can agree on that, at least not in this decade. It's not. It's simply a tool that helps people to do things more efficiently, but it still needs humans to train, guide, and control it. And if you've seen the latest news, there is a lot of legislation that is trying to be passed or may be passed in certain states and certain countries around how to safeguard or how to put guardrails around certain types of AI tools or functions so that it doesn't stray into places that those countries or regions or states feel that it is either the most sensitive data or is most at-risk data. So there is a lot of debate around that. AI doesn't think like humans. AI doesn't have emotions or understanding. It's a tool that follows patterns and rules. When given thousands and thousands of examples of situations, words, pictures, etc., it responds how it was trained to respond. It seems like it understands or it understood your feelings, but in reality, it does not really understand. It's just using the words as its clues. It's using the tone of your voice. If your voice tone goes up, then it knows or thinks you're excited or you're upset, or it can pick up on a lot of those types of clues now with those voice the voice bots that are now available. You can use voice interaction. You can do full voice integration into your tools as well with those AI apps that are out there. But it makes predictions, again, based on the data it was trained on, that when your voice goes higher, then maybe your emotion has changed, or maybe you're more excited, or maybe you're happier, right? It could be that you're more excited. It could be a lot of things, but it doesn't actually understand the feelings. It just knows what the symptoms or knows what the signs of those emotions are for many humans that it has been trained upon. Humans guide AI. So AI still requires humans to input the data and set its goals. It can't operate without human input, right? It doesn't go off and say, I think I should invent this new medication, and just goes off and does it, right? It needs to be given direction. From my previous question about the age of ChatGPT, right? So a few slides ago, how many parameters do you think, how much data, how many parameters was one of the first public versions trained on initially? So again, ChatGPT, we're talking 2018 time frame. How many parameters do you think? 175 billion, with a B, billion parameters. And now in today's terms, that is quite small. But in 2018, that's a lot of data. That was a lot of data. That continues to be a lot of data in most situations, but today's models are trained on 10, 100, 1,000 times that much data. AI is designed to help, not replace. AI is meant to assist in making tasks faster and more efficient, not to replace people entirely. In the corporate world, this, I think many of you probably heard this, in the corporate world, this is a real concern that people have expressed, right? But the quote I believe is the much more accurate is, you won't be replaced by AI, you will be replaced by someone else using AI. Right? Let that sink in. So you're an accountant, you're a CPA, you're a whatever, you're a IT specialist, you are a software engineer, you are whatever you are. But if you do not use AI over the next 18 months to 2 years, maybe at the, 6 months to 12 months probably is more accurate, but over greater periods of time, if you choose not to use AI in your job, you may very well be at risk by someone who's doing the same job but is using AI. So their output is 20, maybe 30% more than you, just because they are assisted with AI and they are not doing the repetitive tasks themselves, and they are using the efficiencies that AI provides, and you are not. So, in summary, AI tools are everywhere. So again, you interact with them every day, whether you think you do or not. You may drive a car, you may not drive a car, you may have a phone, you may have appliances, any of those things. They all have AI in there somewhere. So why not learn to be comfortable with it now, right? So I'm, again, pressing the point. AI is here, it's not going away, and it's only going to get smarter and more efficient. You already interact with them, being AI tools, right? You already interact with them every day as you drive, call, watch, or search. Use your new understanding of how they work and then apply them to accelerate your life. Take massive action. AI tools and abilities will continue to be more powerful and disruptive, so ride that wave to improve your resume, your career profile, your business, or nearly anything else that's important to you, so you can focus your time on more human and family activities. I don't know a lot of people that would say, boy, I would really like to work an extra 5 hours this week so I don't have to do A, B, or C with my friends or my family or my kids or whatever, right? Is a rare case where someone actually prefers that and feels their fulfillment from those kinds of things and not from the human interactions with their families. Have fun. I mean, really. You won't break AI tools by asking them off-the-wall questions, right? Like I was telling you my example with the ChatGPT training, they're trained on what they're supposed to answer. So any off-the-wall question, it'll just say, I don't know, or I'll have to look that up. Or maybe you can go and to this resource and it'll tell you, right? Give ChatGPT a few sentences about a great book or a podcast you want to develop and ask it for an outline for the chapters. It will provide it. It may not be a great version. You may have to enhance it more. You may want to break it down chapter by chapter and say, so the first chapter is okay, but I want you to be more this and more that, and then give me another outline that has, twice as many bullets, so that when you actually do the book or when you do the podcast, you are working from an outline or something that is more complete, and you feel like you are better equipped with the better information. AI is, and not only ChatGPT, but other tools, they are great idea enhancers, right? So similar to my book or podcast question, if you're doing some research, you could use Perplexity AI and say, I have this, I'm trying to find all of the products that do whatever, all the ABC products in this region so that I can do a price comparison with my product so that I know I'm not pricing myself out of this market or doing that. But what is the historical price variance for this product? So you can fit in with where you feel you should be in that market, right? You're empowered by more information, especially during research. AI tools, especially Perplexity AI, is very good at research. AI can be quite entertaining too. I'm going back to the fun aspect. Sorry, research is not necessarily fun. I'm going back to the fun aspect. AI can be quite entertaining, and most GPTs can tell jokes, so you should try that. Literally, they can tell knock-knock jokes. They can tell you other kinds of jokes. If you log in and try them, they're actually, some of them are pretty good and entertaining. So go hands-on. Many AI tools have a free version that will allow you to use it, learn it, get comfortable with it without being committed to a monthly subscription. So again, it's how do you learn best? How do you improve yourself the most? Do you like reading? Do you learn best while you're absorbing content in that kind of format, or listening, right? Because you can have it do audio transcripts. You can give it, your favorite book and ask AI to read it to you. There's many tools that do that. But again, do it, live it, enjoy it, have fun with it. It's there for us to explore and to utilize, and we're going to get into other topics here in the coming weeks. And in this week 1, we also have more content coming, but resume review and profile review on LinkedIn or other platforms, AI does a very good job of doing those things, and there's many tools that can provide them. Ready for more detailed and specific AI tool information. So are you ready? We are building out specific tool content and demonstrations for the later weeks videos of this course. So week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5. What AI tool would you like to dive deeper into as part of this course? We are building it now. I am depending on this community. I feel the building it together is going to be a higher quality, more value product. So tell me what you feel, right? You can comment here in the school community. Start a conversation. Get people talking about it. And we'll figure out how to best go after that tool, do a deep dive, and walk all the way through it. All right, so we're closing with a quote again. New quote. Continuous learning promotes self-confidence and reduces the fear of new challenges, right? So again, I'm pulling from some content that many of you probably have experience with, the Soldier Life program, or Soldier for Life program, excuse me. I really enjoy that. All right, and with that, let's get to work. Let's get to fun. Let's get to exploring. Let's get to all those things. AI is here to explore with, to learn from, and to enjoy. All right, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.